Hey, good morning, and it's Friday, which that means the Lions Den. We want to thank all you that are joining and that will join in the future days. We're going to usher in the weekend to you. We've got a great guest, but returning today is the co-host. We have Jack Roc, the most filmed person in all of North Myrtle Beach. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Life. Wonderful. Wonderful life.
Did you go down to the beach yesterday?
Yes, sir, I did, and enjoyed myself, and I made sure everybody else that was affiliated with me had a good time.
Good deal. Well, we appreciate you being here this morning, Jack. Had a lot of comments on you being in the last segment, so folks wanted you back, so here you are.
Thank you very much.
Good deal, good deal. Before we get started with our special guest, who I'm very excited to have, we've got a couple of sponsors that I want to tout. First, ARS Marketing. Zeb, if you have that, ARS Marketing, the guy can brand anything. Steve Johnson. Call them for any of your marketing needs, 843-774-0186. After that, we have Leon Loeb. I've seen these earrings in person. She makes every one of them individually. Beautiful earrings and actually selling quite well. Leon Loeb's at Lake City, Merle Norman, 394-1494. Followed by Berry Financials. This group has been in business for decades and helped many with their financial goals. It's called Berry Financial Group, and that is 1-800-774-6181. We thank you all and would ask you guys visit our sponsors. They make this thing happen, so thank you to all our sponsors. Okay, without further ado, I have a very special guest here. Many are recognizing because he's often on TV. He's very aggressive mayor in Darlington, South Carolina. Let's give a welcome to Curtis Boyd.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, sir.
Yes, sir.
You got quite the schedule, so I was kind of impressed. I just called you this week. I had a cancellation. I knew I wanted to schedule on here, but I didn't know it would be this quick. But you jumped right on it. We appreciate it.
I appreciate the invite. Always excited to get out and spread a good word to everybody and let them know what's going on.
Yes, sir. Well, I think you got a lot to say. You're a man that wears many hats, and we're going to dwell in all those hats.
Is this podcast for 3 hours long or how?
We won't go that long. Depends on how much Jack Roc extends it. He's got a way of extending things.
Strong mayor, weak council.
Yeah, good question.
We're mayor council manager form, but I'm actually got a petition out trying to get it changed to strong mayor.
Yeah.
I thought I seen that on
Yes, sir.
TV. Am
Yes,
I right or wrong?
You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Maybe a month or so ago.
I've been mayor for 5.5 years and finally decided to step up to see if we can change it back to where it used to be. People voted for me to be in there to give me the authority, and so it looks like it's going to work. But the goal is to get it out. The public will have to vote for it.
So you're going through what Trump's going through with the judges.
Yes, sir. Pretty much.
Okay.
Everything you see in the larger life of politics is the same thing in the small towns.
Yeah, that's right.
Guys, make sure Zeb always tells me, make sure we're in the microphone. You're about, let's get them closer. And we'll dwell on that mayor a bit, but I am a proponent of the strong mayor. When I was in Marion, that was our form of government. And it just allows you to do so much more quicker decisions. And like you say, the people have already put that faith in you to lead the city. But of course, it's a referendum that will have to take place.
Right. We'll have to have 608 names and to put it on the petition, to be able to get it on the ballot. And then once we get it on the ballot, then the public can come out and vote. And right this moment, it's been a real strong turnout for it. We're well over halfway, and the goal is to have all the names in by the end of July, so we can try to get it on the ballot for this year.
I hope that works because it's way more efficient.
Yes, sir.
Government moves so slow to begin with, so I think that expedites some decisions when you put those decisions in your lap.
Yes, sir.
And certainly, Darlington's grown to trust you. So you're in what term? You just
This is my second term.
Second term. Okay, very good. And you just won recently.
Right. It's been a year and a half. So
time
it's been
flies.
5.5 years now. And like I said, I ran a year and a half before that, so it's been about 7 years or more that I've been in the political life. So.
Right. So let's digress a little bit. Let's talk about your Darlington roots, because you and I met, I guess, when I worked for the congressman, and we had a great relationship working. I admired your aggressiveness in the things you were doing, but I know very little about your upbringing and background.
Okay.
So let's take it back a little bit. Were you raised in Darlington?
I'm 60 years old. I'll be 61 in September. I know I don't look like it. We both got the same genes, don't we?
That was a long time ago to me.
But I've lived in Darlington my whole life. Raised just outside the city limits, and so Darlington's always been my home. And went to Pate School, St. John's High School. And,
St. John's, I remember
graduated
that.
from there. Went to Florence Darlington Tech and left and graduated from there. Went to Francis Marion, graduated from Francis Marion, and so my whole life has been in Darlington, raised there. And so a few years back, I just decided when Brian Gardner was one of the city council members, had some stuff going on with trying to get some trails and stuff going, and I went to city council then and just kind of saw some of the stuff that was going on, wasn't pleased with it, and I felt like I could do better. And I guess that's either one of my strong points or either one of my downfalls. I always feel like I can do a little bit better sometimes. And so I decided I'd run for mayor, and the people believed in me, and we've done a good job so far. And we tell people it's like we've accomplished a lot, but sometimes it's like pulling a truck uphill with through the briars. Got a lot of cuts and bruises, but we've been able to accomplish a lot of things, but we could accomplish a lot more with the order of operations change to where, the mayor that they vote in has more of a hands-on for day-to-day operations.
No question. So going back just a little bit, so St. John's, I remember that. I was raised in Dillon, so was Jack Lakeview, but Dillon County. But I remember scrimmaging St. John. Were you part of sports or anything in high school?
No, I was always quiet in high school. I tell people I played baseball, but the coach felt
you look like a baseball player.
The coach felt it was better I played the bench, and so I kept that section warmed up for him. And I used to get upset because he told me I couldn't catch a cold. And so I tell people I hadn't caught COVID, don't get the flu, I hardly ever get sick. So I figured he was just telling me I couldn't catch a cold. But in high school I was never really as athletic. I was always a little quieter. And then after high school I started taking karate, and so I've had over 40 years of karate, and the years of that has taught me to not be afraid. I used to be afraid. I was always taller, and I was always afraid to play basketball because I thought everybody else knew how to play, and I didn't know, and so I didn't realize that they all were learning too. And so I was never as athletic in high school. But then, years later, I went up owning the gym for 36 years now. Yeah. And have ran a lot, biked a lot, and done karate for years. So became a lot more athletic after my high school years.
Yeah, we'll get into some of these hobbies in a bit. So I do that often. Football was a big part of my life in high school and college. And, when I see a big guy, the first thing I do, where'd you play? What'd you play? And so often the case, you're a tall guy and you've got a big frame, but so many guys I go up to, I got this way afterwards.
Right.
So I remember visiting you guys a couple of times, and John Payne, y'all
John
graduated together.
Yes, sir.
Is that
We graduated
right?
together, and like I said, we knew each other in high school, and as far as acquaintances, and then years later he went off, and he came back, was looking to become city manager, and applied for that, and just knew of his reputation. And so we were able to get him in there as city manager, did a good job for a couple of years, and decided to move on.
Yeah.
So,
smart guy.
Very sharp.
Also, you got a city councilman and quite the personality, and Todd, the coroner over there, right? You guys were in school together as well.
Yes, sir. We graduated together. Todd graduated just below me. I graduated ahead of him.
Okay.
Because my name's Boyd and his name is Hardy. So we always run our little running jokes, We graduated valedictorian. They just realized the paper was upside down, and when we got there. But I know Todd's a very sharp guy. Has helped Darlington a lot.
I think
and
so
I said,
too.
Again, in high school we knew each other. We weren't buddies in high school, but as we've gotten older, we've become really good close friends. And he has a love for Darlington, just like I do, and puts a lot of time and gets ridiculed a lot of times for all the effort he puts into it. Sometimes people say, "Oh, you're buying the whole town," and we always tell them it's available. You can buy it too, but some of that stuff he buys is knee deep in water, and some other people don't want it. But he takes it and has rehabbed a lot of places, and we graciously appreciate his support and effort.
See, I like that. I like that dynamic because you come from a business background. Todd comes from a business background, and I think I know a few other councilmen, and I'm not unsure of their backgrounds, but that aids a city county so much when you've got that mentality. Stepping into the government role, because I often say you need more entrepreneurship in government it runs slow, and I understand why, because you're spending taxpayers' money, so it should slow down a little bit,
Right.
but not at the pace that.
Yeah, a lot of times things are just too slow, and things, as if it was changed to strong mayor, things could move a lot smoother and faster for the people, and the people would have a better voice of what they're, because they expect the mayor to be able to do it. And a lot of people don't realize that the mayor doesn't have that authority,
Right.
and so we're trying to get them to realize that, that it'd be better to change it back into that form. But we've been able to have a good group of people that are local, and again, that's one of the things that makes a town grow. A smaller town like Darlington is the love of the local residents. They're investing back into the city.
Yeah, that's the passion that's often not there when someone comes in from another place to serve.
Right.
I mean, it's deep rooted in you guys because that's your home. Just Jack served as county councilman in Dillon County. I was raised in Dillon, so when you've got those ties of your home place,
Right.
you only want it to
Right.
succeed. So I think that's that extra passion that's
Yes,
so
sir.
important. Look, so and we're going to talk more about the mayor in a minute, but now let's navigate a little bit your business background, because man, you've formed some heck of a business in these gyms. But before we talk about the gyms, were there other business ventures that you went on prior to the gym, or was that your first and biggest?
Well, I would say I never knew what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I haven't grown up yet. So
Yeah,
I
don't
haven't
worry,
decided,
Jack
I haven't
ain't
decided what
neither.
I'm going to be yet, Jack. As I look back at my life, what I've realized that I like to do, I like taking things that there's not a lot there and making something out of it. And so as a child, my mother and myself would get up early in the morning, we'd go yard selling, and we'd buy toys and clean them up and bikes and put them outside and sell them. And I'd cut grass, and it's always a effort to work and strive to do better. When I worked at some of my locations as normal jobs, I always had a dream that I can do this again. Not that I could do it better, but I wanted to be a part of it and grow my own type business. When I worked with Mobile Auto Supply, I tried to get him to grow, and he didn't really want to open another location. But I was like, I can do another one like this for you too, And so, I started off at McDonald's, worked at McDonald's for a while, and moved up to be manager, and just always an effort to grow. And so, when I was younger, I guess 19, my father didn't have an education. He didn't graduate he finished the 6th grade, couldn't read and write when he died, and but he was really good with math. And so worked with asphalt for years, and I talked him into opening a convenience store. And so if you're going toward Myrtle Beach, there's one on the left-hand side we opened a convenience store there and built that and got it going. And a year later, I was like, this isn't really what we want to do. And so we were able to sell that, get some money back off that, and just different things like that. Just I've always had a drive to do. I started taking karate, and wanted to open up my own karate school, and started in the backyard with 2 people teaching them karate. And that grew to where I had 42 kids in my backyard, and had enlarged the building there, kept growing more. And finished Francis Marion and decided I wanted to try to do it full time. And so my dad came up with the idea of the gym. He had never worked out. I never really worked out in the gyms and was always scared to go into a gym. And so we added the gym to it so I could teach karate, full time. And so opened up that, and the gyms always did better than the karate always did better than the gym, because that's what I knew more and pushed more. But then over the years, started pushing the gym more and got more involved with making sure I was doing proper with that. And the gyms have grown now from 1 location to 13 locations, and actually looking at another location now, hopefully at the beach. And
Let's take a look at one of these clips right quick, Mayor, because you have grown into a full-fledged operation. All over the
I tell
place.
my guys all the time, it's not a game anymore. We're not in the backyard. So sometimes we still feel like we're in the backyard, but like I said, we have over 18,000 gym members, and so it's done phenomenal.
It's impressive. We're
The
going to
Lord-
talk
the Lord
about
has
that for a little
blessed
bit.
us.
Do you have that clip, Zeb, that we can? I got this off of Facebook. Fitness Worldwide Gym, folks.
I have a good team that helps me. I've learned over the years. I used to tell people, you didn't make it, you won't break it. So I don't, but I've learned I have to have people, and so that's helped me to grow. to where I realized that one day I was sitting in a location and I thought, well, who's working the other location? It's not me. So I definitely have to have other people. I can't do it all by myself. And so I've learned to build a good team around me to where I don't know everything. I can't do everything, but I have people that I can direct and learn to become that director and that leader to make it grow. And
Right.
so that's, it's what's helped. I tell people my mother used to always fuss at me. She's been dead 8 years, and she would always fuss. And she said, well, you're never satisfied. But every time I open another location, I told them I could pay more tithe. I can I put my passwords for Jesus Loves You and so forth like that to where, constantly plant that seed out there for people to see. And the Lord has blessed us, and I try to give back in what He's given. And so what I've always been taught, little is much when God is in it. So, I need to give back with what God has given me. And so just because you got 13 locations doesn't always mean it's a blessing, that God can have fun with you because you got 40 to 60 bathrooms. There's always something going on. Something needs to be fixed. And so it's a monster sometimes, but I love it and enjoy it. And it's grown to where we're able to help a lot of people. And with our gyms, we try to make it to where I realized as a child and a teenager being scared to go in the gym. So I try to make my gyms to where they're family friendly, and we're able to help you when you come in and know exactly what to do and feel comfortable for everybody.
Well, you've done that and let's show a couple more pictures, Zeb, if we can, of some of his locations. The one in Marion, I'll tell you, first of all, the equipment is bar none, top of the line. And you can address any body parts. You've got equipment. I've been a gym rat all my life, and you've got equipment in Marion that, I've never seen. But honestly, just the environment, is just so cool because I see all my friends, everybody. I go in the morning, sometime in the afternoon. In the afternoon, you've got the whole community coming out after
Right.
work, and it's just a great go to work out. But it is a great little social environment too,
Right.
when you catch up with folks all day long. So it's been good in Marion. I think I've been to your Lake City, I've been to your Florence, I've been to your Dillon, and I got to tell you, it carries over in every location.
Yes, sir.
It really does. And the themes there as well. There's Christian motivation sayings all over the place. So what an environment you've created, man.
Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, we've grown and just try to keep going out 20 minutes away from each location and get a little bit further out that way. And the public have been very supportive. And like I said, when you see our pictures,
That's because they're supportive because you give a great product.
yeah, well,
And seems like you're always elevating. Like for instance, Marion, you put in a sauna
Right.
there in an extra room.
we're constantly. I tell people you can't say that Fitness World doesn't try to continue to grow and make it better for you. We always are growing and trying to improve and get better and compliment the people. Like I said, the pictures and banners and stuff that you see of people, they're real people. That's why I came up with that saying, real people, real success. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's rewarding to me, even on the bad days where you've got, this is broke, somebody's crying, whining about something. Then somebody will walk up to you and go, hey, I've lost 60 pounds, that's just changed their life. Or had a guy come in yesterday and the girl told me, she said, he walked into the gym. We used to call him Kung Fu Panda. He took karate with me. And so he walked in and rejoined and had moved out of town. And she said he was standing at the desk and he just went, wow, it's just like a breath of fresh air. I just love being back. And just people don't realize what they've got until they're gone and come back,
Yeah.
And so, I tell people the thing that I strive for is customer service. My phone, people ask me all the time, well, your phone rings all the time. I get on silence right now, but I'll answer a call if I miss it when I get back. And, but with all my locations, I answer the phone. My wife answers the phone. Occasionally I'll forward it to somebody else I trust, but I like to be involved where I know that I'm constantly in that contact. The 13 locations, we're constantly going around and checking everything and speaking to the people and being involved with it, not just sitting back.
Another cool component is always gyms too. You have pictures of folks, but they're local folks.
Yeah, they're real people
that have really embraced the fitness. So that's pretty cool seeing people I know.
And
testimonies.
I'll have people go, when you gonna get me on a banner? I'm like, send me pictures. I need a picture of you eating Oreos. Your worst picture. Just sit back, and give me your best picture. And we'll take pictures of you to show the difference.
Well, I got a picture for you. I'm gonna take this opportunity because
you have done phenomenal. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
thank you. Well, Jack Roc, for instance, I had somebody make sure you get Jack Roc to strike another pose today. So this is your opportunity, and I'm here to tell you, here's another fitness
Oh,
model. for
really?
you. Really? So
Somebody has to say.
make sure Jack Roc.
Yeah, but I'm not pumped up.
Well, give us what you got. Give us what you got. Okay. Is that Walworthy, Mayor?
Oh, yes, it is. He's in
At
good, great shape.
77, that's Walworthy, isn't it?
Thank you. Hey, and it didn't come easy.
Oh, no. It never comes
It
easy.
don't.
This madman works out half of his day is what he does.
A lot of people will come in and, they're timid and they'll see you over there, or they'll see a young girl over there in shape or so forth, and they'll think, oh, well, she thinks she's all that. They don't realize that she was 100 pounds overweight, a few years ago, and she's still in there fighting every day. And like you just said, it doesn't come easy. And so, just the consistency is what I try to preach.
But to your point, you even said that you were afraid to go in gyms. Let me tell you what happens, at least in Marion, when you have that person that's a little bit overweight, they come in and you see the timid. I mean, I've been in gyms all my life. You can see it. Folks there embrace.
Right.
They embrace them. They encourage them. I do it because I love to see someone coming in to change their lifestyle. So I go up to them immediately and encourage them. Go ahead, Jack Roc.
Here's one thing that enthuses me and gives me my discipline, and it might help some of our audience out here. And I'm saying something that y'all already know and they already know. One of the biggest things that will pump me up and make me want to go home, leave where I'm at, where it's a party, wherever, some guy walk in with a bad bicep, big, and I'm a little small guy, it'll make me want to go home. Seeing someone else built good enthuses me.
Right.
So y'all people out there don't think that people aren't watching you and want to be like you when you get in shape.
Yeah.
Right.
13 locations now. Can you name? I'm putting you on the spot. Can you name 13 locations?
Oh yeah. I have my little speech.
You're paying for them. You can name them, can't you?
Florence, Darlington, Hartsville, Sherrall, Bennettsville, Dillon, Marion, Lake City. There's 3 in Florence. There's a ladies only. We have the only ladies only location. So there's 3 in Florence.
Remind me where I've been to the one on Palmetto going out toward
Palmetto's
Timothyville.
beside Food Line.
Where's the other one?
Second Lip Road has 2 locations. One's beside
I know the women's. Yeah.
where Wacker Realty used to be at East Chiropractic and all right there.
Okay.
Is the one on Second Lip Road, and the ladies' location behind Tidal Wave Car Wash are the 3 in Florence, and then Hartsville has one of the roads of shopping mall. When you pull into Hartsville, it looks like there's 2 because we rented another 350 feet away in the same strip mall. We rented another one, so you pull up, it looks like there's 2 gyms there.
I see.
So there's another 9,000 square feet in that location. So Hartsville has 35,000 square feet, and then Bennettsville is in the old Bayou Shopping Center at the corner of by Walmart. Mm-hmm. And it's 27,000 square feet. Dillon is beside in front of what the Walmart used to be, across from Roses and all their Church of God. Lake City, you got Marion is in the Tractor Supply and McDonald's strip mall there. Lake City is
Down from the Shrimper?
down North Main by the Shrimper there.
Everybody,
in
that
Lake City.
Shrimper, I've never seen a line. It's like a Chick-fil-A over
Yeah,
there.
and then Florence, like I said, has the 3 there. And then Darlington is, we've been there for 18 years, and that particular location is just down past the racetrack where I used to be a Winn-Dixie grocery store. Yeah. So then there's 2 inside plants, RBC and A.O. Smith, they're in their plants.
Okay,
and then
nice,
we're knocking on the door at Myrtle Beach. We haven't made a complete deal yet, but it looks like we're going to hopefully.
You spoke of that, and that was my next question. What other aspirations are you?
Well, we've been wanting to go to the beach and to Sumter is our next goals. Since COVID, it's been harder to try to open smaller ones in smaller towns because everything has gotten so much higher. But we've been wanting to get to the beach. We found a location down there that's going to work out really well, we think. And then hopefully the next move will be to Sumter.
Good deal. I'd like to encourage you, if you're looking for a place to work out, this is the place to be. Very reasonable, too.
We offer 24/7. Like I said, you'll be surprised at how many people you'll be in Bennettsville, and I'll see somebody that they live in Lake City, and then somebody lives in Lake City that's working in Bennettsville. They travel all over, and then there's some people that just are gym hoppers, and they'll go, just around
a different atmosphere.
Yes,
I've done that just for a different atmosphere.
And
but let me tell you, you too. You got a lot of programs. I actually spin. That's the cycling, Jack. So they have classes in Marion for that, which is real neat because it's a pretty good workout, and some of those gals can really spend. So there's different classes offered. Usually most of it's within the membership. I know, the spin class is. So doing a lot of really, really good things.
All the classes are included. Tanning beds included. Saunas are included. Showers included. Family plan has child care.
Clean
And
as a
again,
whistle. Everything's clean.
I tell people one of the big lot of differences in our gyms and other places, but our gyms you can call, you get me 24/7 or my wife 24/7. Our key cards are accessed at anytime. We have people sometimes that forgot their card or something's happened to their account, and at 4:30 in the morning they can't get in. We'll open the door for them remotely and get them in the door, get their account straight.
Cool.
Like I said, and then we have childcare, so we offer the family plans. Sometimes I tell people when a place offers you a cheap price, always make sure you're looking, because then they don't. A lot of times they won't offer the family plan,
Right.
and the family plan is a big difference. And so you're paying a fee, and then your wife's paying a fee, and your child wants to go to pay a fee. Then all of a sudden you're paying. After 2 times you're already paying way more than what you're charging. We're charging for a family plan.
Yeah.
And so with ours, the whole family gets a key card to come anytime they want to, and so that being able to have access to all the different locations 24/7. We're the only place around that's opened. I think there's one more place that's open 24/7. Has one location, but we're open to where you always can get in. It's never closed.
So you just told me something I didn't know. So if my card doesn't work, sometimes I get out real early, 3:30 in the morning.
You can call
I
us.
can just call your cell phone.
You can call
and
my
just-
cell phone, and they'll answer it 24/7. Yes,
wouldn't do that too.
we don't mind. We
so-
don't want you to get there. Some people call and something was wrong with their account, and they forgot to change their credit card. And today's world is crazy. There's one bank that just changed everybody's card from Visa to MasterCard. It just and so everybody's got stuff on their cards, and sometimes they'll forget or or didn't realize they didn't change it, and so then their cards where they can't get in the door. So we can quickly fix it right there on the account. And so I tell people, see my wife walking around with a back sack. She's got a computer right there. She'll pop that thing open, and she's right on it, just like Johnny on the spot.
We're going to venture into another topic right quick, but before we do this, just a little fun fact. Jack and Zeb will enjoy this. So I don't know what it is, but, out of all the gyms I've been to, I went to Dillon here about 3 weeks ago, and it must be in the water. Zeb, the producer and owner of this studio, he's a big dude. You see Jack Roc over here at 77 cut up, but the fellas in the Dillon gym, I'm gonna tell you, they jack, man. I know you see them all, and I've gone to all of them, and there's a lot of impressive women and men and all of them, but something about that Dillon gym, they're just all jacked up. Must be the water.
Can I throw something in there?
Throw it, brother.
This is not going to make you feel good, but I've never been in a gym in my life. All my workouts at home. Some of them's old concrete and rebar weights, homemade, that I used in construction on the job. But I'm going to share something with the females. And you guys are going to know what I'm talking about. You can go anywhere you want to and see a guy jacked up with the big muscles, perfect built, and you're amazed. But when you go anywhere in public and you see a female that has got a good build, it ain't got to be all the big muscle, but a female that's in good shape, it don't matter what her age is. If she's got them pretty legs, you know what I'm saying? Especially if there's a suntan on them, that makes them look 3 times as good. You know what I'm saying? But I want to enthuse all you females out there in the audience that might be watching. I am a perfect example of you females, how beautiful you are with a good built and a good looking, healthy suntan. I admire a man, saying it again, reiterating. Did I say that right? Yeah. But men, it amazes me somebody take the time to get built. But females, I can't stress it enough how beautiful they are.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, anybody that takes care of themselves, you got to
yeah.
you got to admire that.
Yeah.
And it's harder for them to build muscle.
Oh, yeah.
We're
That's
full of testosterone.
That's why I admire the female. It's so much harder.
Right.
You know?
I try to explain to them, if your name's Mary and you come in and start working out using weights, their name's not going to turn into Mike tomorrow.
That's right.
Unless they start taking steroids or something. We don't promote that. So, but
I
again,
never see evidence that gyms
we-
I went to. You kind of see never seen any evidence.
No, we have a good clean group, and like I said, the ladies work hard, guys work hard, and again, my goal is what I try to tell them is to be healthy, be consistent. And occasionally, people call and say, "I need to cancel." I'm like, why you need to cancel? Well, I just don't have no time. I said, well, we're starting that 25-8 group, where you have 25 hours a day and eight days in a week, and they're like, what? I'm trying to give you some extra time. I mean, you got to make that time. But if you finally get to a point where you go by and you see people that are in rehab and they can't pick their bodies up because they're hurting their legs, but they're weak, their upper body's weak because they haven't been working out, it'll make you want to come work out. And so you're if you're overweight and it's just it's tearing on your body. And so I've had people, I've lost 50 pounds. I'm like, well, and I feel so much better. Well, I said, well, imagine if you just walked around with a 45-pound plate all day, and I've asked people, walk over and grab a 45-pound plate,
Walk around.
and just walk around with it. And look at you like you're crazy. Well, you just, you drop 45 pounds, that's how much better you're going to feel. You're just carrying that all day long. That's a lot on your heart, it's a lot on your knees, a lot on your back. So, makes you feel so much better.
I tell you what hurt me. So I've just recently lost about 60 pounds too. But when I was doing all my running, and I've run a couple of marathons too, I was a heavy runner. And had I known now, that's why I have joint problems now, because all that running I did was great, but I was running so heavy, putting so much on joints. We're going to leave this topic and head somewhere else. But before I do, I will take this opportunity to give a shout out to the gym in Marion. Your manager, the group there, the folks that you've got to clean, whether you're there or not, they represent you.
Yeah,
well.
I've
They're
been blessed
top
with
notch.
I've been blessed with good groups all over, and I said people in today's world where everybody struggles to have good employees, but I try to treat them good and pay them good, and so we have a good
and they're
group of
fun
people.
too. They engage, they engage as well, but they keep that place tip top. All right, let's move. We touted a little bit earlier about your mayorship there, but many rural towns are struggling now. I can tell you where I live now, Marion, the town's they've got a great council and mayor there, and it's showing downtown. It truly is great efforts. Dillon is on the verge of doing great things downtown. I spent a lot of time in Dillon. What are some of the initiatives we've got going in Darlington? I know downtown's such an important component to you guys too.
Right. Well, we just finished the splash pad.
Yeah, I saw that.
Was,
Congratulations.
2-year struggle there with trying to get all that done, and it has been a great turnout. And tell people so many times you do stuff, you get a lot of complaints. We got complaints before. Our water bill's going to go up, and you're wasting water and all this kind of stuff. They didn't realize that it's trying to explain to them it's being recycled.
Yeah.
And but they'll want things for the kids, but then you do something they're like, you're spending all this money. Well, yeah, in today's world that was almost a $600,000 project, and then you ride by what you think, well, where's $600,000? It's like when you ride by and look at the sports complex, where's almost $9 million there, and but it just takes so much today to make things happen. But we've been trying to do activities like that for the kids and families to where they bring good quality of life. We got some trails that getting ready to be started also downtown.
Nice.
That have been in the works that should be coming in soon. Some more streets and all getting ready to be paved, and just talk with the developer yesterday, trying to put possibly another 120 new homes downtown.
That's the key, man.
We just come up with the incentive plan that if they build starting in September this year through September in 2 years, that they'll still have to pay their fees, but water fee, tap fee, sewer fees, permit fees, but they'll get those fees back if it's a home that's for sale, if they sell the house, not a rental home. And so to encourage people to come build in Darlington, a lot of towns are growing, and we're looking to try to get more people to come in to be residents to help.
That's the key. We've got to put heads on pillows. We've got to grow our residential base in these rural towns where we've lost traditionally. Right. So that
a lot of people are wanting to move into smaller towns. We're a little quieter, and I love Florence. I tell people, I'm a different kind of mayor, I guess, because I have gyms everywhere. I want Florence to do good, Darlington, Sorrel, Horace. I want them all to do because I got gyms in all of them. But we're all working together. But we always pick and say, we're going to put a sign up at 5 Points and say, if you lived in Darlington, you'd already be home. But now Darlington's got busy too sometimes with traffic. But our goal, like I said, is to grow the city back a few more thousand people, and that will continue to help the city grow and have more things for everybody to be able to enjoy, and more family activities and things like that. So.
One distinct advantage you got just by way of proximity, recognition. The Darlington Raceway is known really worldwide to some degree. So how does that play in? I mean, for instance, if I say Marion, outside the state, very few people can, place that. But Darlington's very different. Is there a way to take advantage of having the raceway there that's known?
It helps our visibility of being known. I mean, it's outside the city limits, but again, Josh and Russell are the new guys there, and they have been real supportive with us. We're supportive with them, helping each other, and to make the city grow. And again, like I said, it's just one of those things over 75 years that now, when you say Darlington and somebody doesn't know where Darlington is, you say, well, you know where the racetrack is. Most of them have heard of that. So it's
kind of south of the border for us.
It gives us a good point. But again, we do a lot of things together and collaborate together with each other. And like I said, Kerry was there, was real supportive also with the city. Now that he's retired, Josh and Russell have come in, and Russell's grown up in Darlington his whole life too.
And he was there years ago.
Yes.
I mean, he's got extensive background in that arena.
Yeah, Russell has been that's all he's done is race NASCAR. He knows NASCAR.
Yeah. Well, back to people like the corner Todd. I mean, he's got that downtown, the old post office, which is really a great addition to events and stuff.
It brings
right?
events. It brings people from all over, and that's what we're looking to try to do is to bring. He's doing the market on the square now. The building that he renovated that was a major eyesore right in the middle of the square, basically, has been hosting a lot of events and brings people from outside the city. And that's what we're trying to do is just, your citizens, like at Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach the people there can't pay for everything. It's the visitors, the tourists coming in to help them pay for a lot of stuff. And a lot of times they don't want those tourists in there, but that's what gives you your money coming in there.
Particularly with the penny sales tax.
Your goal is to bring people into your city and be that shining light. And I tell people all the time, for the negative side of it, they get on, and it's not just Darlington. I see it a lot of other towns. They'll get on and they'll grind about the least little thing. And I tell our people all the time, I said, my sensei, my karate instructor lives in Thailand, and he supports me and follows me all the time. And I said, you get on there and say something good or something bad, and 30 seconds later to a minute later, he'll tag me back, and he saw it in Thailand. I mean, people forget that you're on the World Wide Web, and that's what WWW stands for, the world. And so we're all web together. And so our goal is to get Darlington to where, it looks and people from the outside. And that's what I said when I first ran for mayor. I want everybody from the outside to look in and go, what's happening in Darlington? And we've had a lot to happen. Since 1990, they were trying to do the sports complex, and they've gone through property. We went through a piece of property on the 151 out there, and wound up being way more than we could handle after COVID to get it done. But now, finally we're able to have it to where when you go to the sports complex at the Blue Streets, there's bathrooms. For years there weren't even bathrooms out there. It was just a mess, and so we've grown that to where it's a great place for the kids and families to come enjoy. Now the splash pad has done well. And like I said, we're still continue to grow and make things better.
Well, that's an expectation of the citizens. I mean, you've got to have those kind of amenities to get things done. Let me compliment you on one other thing. Good, bad, or indifferent, you're on the news quite a bit. So I think your goal, obviously, is to be transparent, because I've seen you speak it all. So just keeping the folks informed. That's what they want. They want to know what's going on, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, communication. People want to, they want to know when a road's closed. They want to know what's going on, and the public is always involved. And that's what I tell people when I ran for mayor is, I'm here to help you. And people say, well, in my business, it must be nice being, you don't have a boss. No, I have 18,000 bosses.
I told you're the low man. Listen, you're the low man on the totem pole. I tell people that all the time. The mayor is the low man on the totem pole. Everybody's your boss.
In my gym, I answer to my members, and I look at being mayor as the same way as if you live in the city, and I say my city, our city, it's my town. I love it, and it's our town, and so together, these people look to me and look to the council members make their city better, and that's what they voted us in for. And so, if I don't do that, I won't get voted back in. And so my goal, that was why. And somebody taught me this. I can't remember what it was, but people. Danny Lockham, he's always, the Honorable Mayor Boyd, and
he's a Dylan.
And
listen to half of what he says.
And people, think, oh, well, you're the mayor. Well, the honorable means that it's an honor for me to serve you. I'm a servant, as for what we're doing as the mayor. We're here to serve the public, and I have to constantly make sure I'm inform the other people that, and I tell myself the same thing, that I'm here to help the people. And, people will call you all the time, well, my trash can is messed up, this, that, Todd had taught me that one thing too. He said, one day somebody called him, Todd's not on city council, he's the coroner. And, so Todd.
Why was I thinking he was on city council?
He's the coroner.
I'm sorry.
He's
Thanks
been the coroner
for that correction.
But, somebody called Todd one time before, this was when I was running for mayor, and he said, somebody, called him on a Saturday morning and said, my trash can, the wheel of my trash can's messed up. He goes, okay, well, what's your name, And Todd went to school with me. Todd cut the grass at the funeral home where he started at, and he started with nothing, and he's grown to where he is too. And so he still answers the phone and talks to people all the time. And this lady calls on a Saturday morning and wants her wheel fixed on her trash can. And so it's easy to say, well, that's not my job. I've had people in jail and family members and call and say, try to get me to give them pardons and all this kind of, I can't get in touch with my son. I could easily say, I don't have nothing to do with that. But because I have a connection and I know the sheriff, and the sheriff will pick up the phone, answer the phone when I call him, I can say, hey, this person needs some help. And so, I learned a lot of that from Todd. He said the lady called and he said, well, ma'am, what's your address? We'll come over and see if we can get it fixed. But let me ask you a question. He says, why'd you call me? I'm the coroner. And she said, well, you were the only one to answer the phone, And so, it's easy to put people off. But again, as the mayor and council, that's what we try to do. I have two sons that live in Vegas, and I beg them to come back all the time. And Vegas is a great place. And I said, but that people don't know you. We're here if I walk that through town and they know me, and I broke down or I need some help or I got somebody to call. Just like that, I can make a connection and get some help with whatever. And so, I like the small town. I like being known, and I like the friendliness of everything. And I like my Joe's Grill and my Nick's Barbecue and Dairy
I've had that same conversation.
And, you walk in and they know. You walk in and they know what you want. It's like being at home. It's like your mom was. My mom's been dead 8 years. I don't have nobody to cook for me. My wife doesn't like to cook. So you walk in, it's like they know you. They know exactly what you want and how to take care of you. And just to me, I love that small town.
Yeah, same here. I had that same conversation with my son who opts for the bigger cities, but there's so much value in rural South Carolina. Do you have a point that you?
I would like to take this time to let people know that my feelings toward mayors and city councilmen. We had a discussion on our last podcast about how little bit of money that the senators and the House members make. It just blows my mind to listen to his enthusiasm and his feeling. And he's got another life out there besides mayor. And what really blows my mind about these cities, especially smaller towns, is how people are enthused to run for these offices and get paid nothing. Yeah. You're doing nothing but volunteering your time. And the reason I bring this up is the average viewer out there don't realize what these public servants' salaries are, which is so little in some of the towns I've known of in the past in my long life. Some of the city councilmen or mayors donate their money back to the city because they're not making anything.
It's authentic. Yeah. That's the beauty. It's all you've got people that really want to serve on the local level. It's authentic. In Marion, I think way back then my salary was $13,000 to $14,000, which I really gave to help with electric bills. But it's gotta be genuine.
Time the taxes come out of it, and your expenses, Rodney.
Oh, you lose
really,
you lose money.
$13,000 is cut down to nothing.
Yeah, you lose money.
Yeah, ours is $10,000 gross, and then by the time you get your net, it's way less than that. But again, I do the same thing. I use it to put back into Darlington. I got a lot of things that I've always spent back in and try to make it better and help people with their bills, and anywhere I can see how to benefit others. But again, you didn't sign up for. It's just like when I was running for strong mayor, trying to change that. I had one of the council members and another person say, "Well, maybe we should get it where the mayor then can make a salary." And I'm like, if you do, I'm going to still get donated back. I don't want it, And that, they thought, well, maybe down the road it continue to help bring a good clientele of people in that would want to be mayor. But again, to me, being mayor or being on council that's what I said. Being honorable, the honorable mayor is it's an honor to serve. We're here to serve you, right. And so if you're coming in for the money, you're here for the wrong reason. Definitely.
For instance, in Myrtle Beach, Jack, I think mayors down there around 100,000 or better.
I'm running that selection,
but it's very different.
That's what I'm saying. There's places like that they're a full-time mayor. It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
And again, this is a full-time job at times too. But again, there's people that there are cities in Charleston and so forth like that. That's all they do. That's their full-time position, and so they're expected to be paid. But the smaller towns like this, it is people don't realize the effort and time that you donate your time. Council members make less than I do, and so.
But when you put mission over money, the money comes. But if mission goes first, accomplishing things, good things just follow. They just follow.
That's what's it's the benefit of being able to see that when you leave it better than it was when you got it, and that's the goal is always to make sure. And I know that. If I leave tomorrow, which I don't plan to leave, and plan to continue to run, I know now my last 5.5 years we've made a great improvement. Right. So things are better.
Let's move on to some hobbies. I think we've got a fancy car that we can put up there, Zeb. You've got a couple of hobbies. Certainly we've kind of got into some of them, exercising. You ran for a while, but is this one of your passions as well?
That's become one of my, I don't know if it's a passion or addiction. It's like I love them. Fell in love with the Cadillacs and cars. I've always loved cars as a child, but been able to get to where I can find some at good deals and try to invest in those. And
do you buy them already?
Some of them are
beautified like that, or do you?
Well, like that one, I've had it painted and have tires and rims put on it. A lot of them, we buy cheap to where I can work to fix them up. And my son is 19, and he does a phenomenal job with repairing stuff, and he's getting into that even stronger. And so we just bought him two 1960 Cadillacs. One's a convertible, one's a hardtop, and those two didn't run at all. The other ones were running, but these two are in pretty rough shape. And but he loves it. He's got on what I call a rotisserie, get it turned upside down and putting new floor pans all in it. I tell people I like the key. I like to just turn the key and let it go. But I love the Cadillacs, and
you do shows.
Yeah, we go to shows, and I take my employees to go and they'll ride the cars, drive the cars, and we have like a little time to have a party and go off and enjoy each other and have fun. And so a lot of times we'll take 7 or 8 out at a time and have a good time. And,
nice. Jack Roc, when I went out to visit you one day, you got something in one of your old buildings out there. Was that a Mustang? What do you have in that building out there?
1965 GT 2+2 fastback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it run? Does it still run?
You can look at me and tell I'm a little wild. And I got a high-powered motor in it, and about 25 years ago, it backed up in that barn, and all the tires were rotten. And all the other, I got more than one of them. Rest of them's in the woods, parked in a perfect parking spot. My foot's too heavy. I did away with all my bikes, 4-wheelers, dirt bikes. Every time I get in something, just wild. Can't forget back on there, when we were all wild in the 60s. And every time I got
I was drinking baby bottles in the 60s.
Yeah, I know you weren't even born, man. But really, every time I get on my dirt bike or my 4-wheelers that is all sopped up, I smell the funeral home, man. You ever smelled the funeral home?
I feel what you're saying. I can't say that I physically smelled one, but
between that smell and my kids fearing for my safety, I had to. So it's all the tires is rotten.
Yeah, well, I have a heavy foot too, so that's one reason I guess I like the Cadillacs. My son will be behind me. Daddy, you need to move a little faster. So I'm driving the Cadillac, son. We got nowhere to go. We're going easy, just cruising,
Yeah.
I ride down the road 45, 50 mile an hour, enjoying it.
I'm the slowest driver you'll ever meet. I just naturally just drive slow. drives people crazy when they ride with me. We're sunsetting on the interview here, so another thing that I've admired you for, you wear your faith on your sleeve, no question about it. It seems like every time we converse, it comes up. It's so evident in all your businesses. Tell me, what drives that? What brought you to the Lord?
Well, I was saved when I was 6 years old. Came to know the Lord as an early age, and I've just always my goal in life. But like I said, my mother, she would say, "You're not satisfied," and I always tell her, my mom, my goal is to tell other people about Jesus, and you try to figure out what's your mission in life. And I've never had a drive to go to Africa or across seas to be a missionary, and so my goal in life is to be a shining testimony for Jesus Christ. And I tell people, never look at me because Curtis, don't compare yourself to Curtis or other people or a pastor. Keep your eyes on Jesus, and because that's every man is a man or a woman, and they fail. And so, but my goal is every day is to drop a seed, and so somebody can know where to go for eternity. And if you don't know Jesus Christ as your Savior, that's the whole purpose. And so, everything all the businesses, all the cars, everything that you have in life, it passes, and everything's just here as a temporary. Enjoy what you got while you're here, and enjoy your family and love your family, but make sure that other people know that that's the goal. It's a battle. And I had this little saying that I came up with was train hard, put God first, smile, and change someone's day. And you'll be surprised at how many people see that. And they'll ask you, and they'll say, sit on the side of my trailers and things like that. And they'll go, well, I like your saying, but why'd you say put God first, second? And I said, well, train hard because I trained in karate and I trained physically. But I said, every day before my feet hit the floor, the devil's already attacking me. And I've always been taught the Bible is my sword, so I got to make sure I have that in my heart and always be prepared to fight the devil. And every day he wants to try to bring you down. And
it's his mission.
And so if he can destroy, he's the ultimate deceiver and liar. And so that's what he's after is every day if he can put your light out. And years ago when I went through divorce, he put my light out. And for years, probably 2 or 3 years, I wouldn't hardly talk to anybody about anything. And I realized, I'm just a sinner saved by grace, and I still have the ability to go out and tell people about Jesus. And so my little favorite song was This Little Light of Mine, I'll let it shine all over Darlington, let it shine over the whole world, let the world see that Jesus Christ is the answer to everything. And if you don't know that or don't have that peace, that's I just pray that you'll know that. And so I'll tell people, every day you got to train to be prepared for that because you're constantly being attacked. And everything that you do, try to put God in it and be a good testimony that it's going to help others. And then the last thing was, always smile and change someone's day. As I said, you don't never know what the other person's going through. And you see some people that are grumpy and see some people that are just smiling, everything's great, but you still don't know what that person's going through. If they're just lost their job, they just found out they got cancer, that they're financially bankrupt, or, they're going home at night and their husband or wife's beating them, and you don't know. And so, take that moment. And in today's world is fast paced. You go to work and a lot of people don't compliment you or support you and pat you on the back, and you go home, where's my supper? Where's my food? And kids are hollering, and just so much chaos that just going by the gym or anywhere you're at a convenience store and just taking a second and say, hey, you look good today. Hey, you did a great job. Just give them that little quick pat on the back.
Let that little light shine.
And a lot of times it's just a smile. So when I go up to convenience stores, and I know we got to go, but I always, a lot of people will say, God bless you, or have a blessed day. And I always tell people, so what do you mean by a blessed day? What do you mean? In today's world, there's a lot of gods. But there's only one real God, and there's only one Jesus. And so I challenge everybody, when you go out and you see somebody, tell them Jesus loves you. And you'll be surprised sometimes at that little shock that they see when they see Jesus, because Jesus Christ is the only person that lived and conquered death. And so he raised from the dead, and he's here to save you for your sins. So take that time and tell people about Jesus, drop that seed, and see how you can change somebody's day.
Get stamped by that Holy Spirit. Jack Roc, the mayor wears many hats. He just gave a sermon. I believe we could put him up in the pulpit.
Can I throw something in there that will make you guys feel good and our audience?
Throw it in there.
A true believer, there were 2 thieves on the cross with Jesus. Mm-hmm. One told Jesus, if you are who you say you are, take us down from here. Now, on Judgment Day, when you walk before God and you never ask God, prove to me who you are, that you believed without, faith. It comes from faith. You're going to have a special blessing in heaven for not asking God like the thief on the cross did. God's going to show it to you that you didn't have to have proof. You just believed.
It's by faith, yes.
Yeah, and by faith, because the one thief on the cross, he entered because Jesus said, "You'll be with me this day," and this is kind of a joke, but it was said once he got there at the door. He says, well, "What are you doing here?" Said that man said I could come.
Right.
Talking about Jesus.
He threw his thumb out. You know what I visualized? The good thief, when he told the bad thief, "Shut your mouth. This is God's son here." Jesus said, he said, "Remember me when you get there." Jesus said, "No, get in the back seat." He had his thumb out. So that's what we have to do, is put our thumb out to Jesus. And you know what Jesus will tell you? Don't get in the back seat, get in the front seat with me.
I like that.
Well,
That's how simple. The thief on the cross is how simple it is to get saved.
Yeah.
He never paid any tithes. He never went to church.
But had faith.
He had his heart right.
I tell people all the time, if we were sitting in this room and somebody walked in and pulled a gun to your head and go shoot you, and I jumped in front of them and I blocked the gun and tried to fight him off, and I took the bullet, right, and I died, but I saved your life. You'd be out going to everybody telling them, man, the mayor, Curtis Boyle, man, he saved my life. Oh, he's so awesome, right? And then people would be using my name, talking trash about me. Oh no, don't talk about the mayor, man. He saved my life, man. That's a good guy. I've been dead if he hadn't have done that for me, right? And that's nothing compared to what Jesus Christ has done for you, okay? Because Jesus Christ conquered death, and and again, I tell people, if I go up to the courtroom and I use Danny Watson as my best friend, was the police chief, and I go up there and I got a $500 speeding ticket, and I walk up there and doing what I'm supposed to do, and Danny. I go stand in front of the judge, and the police chief walks in and says, "Oh, Judge, don't worry about it. I know him. I got it. It's taken care of. We made it good. I'm able free to go." I'm like, "Wow, Danny's the man. He took care of me, man." Well, Jesus, that's what Jesus is going to do, because I'm a sinner saved by grace, and same as you. There's no sinner that Jesus can't save, and that's what they tell you. And so when you go up there and Jesus looks, and God looks at you and goes to judge you, Jesus is going to step in and say, my blood covered him, and so I'm covered by the blood of Jesus Christ. But I got to have that. I got to have that faith.
I'll throw something else in that you need to
You're
take.
gonna get tired of throwing.
You need to take this in consideration when you're talking to people that are believers. Mm-hmm. When you're talking, now I know I'm old enough to know. I've been in enough crowds. I know this for a fact. Anytime you're talking about politics and Christianity with true believers, the sun will set on you before you blink your eyes, because there's no end to your conversation, especially with the Christianity part. There's no end. You can keep right on going, and time will get away from you, and that sun will be set.
Oh, yeah.
When you're true believers and really believe. Now, Jesus said that very few gonna make it. One of my biggest prayers when I get up in the morning, God, help me not miss it. You can miss it. That would be a terrible thing. You got a line of sheep and you got a line of goats on Judgment Day.
We got to have that assurance. I tell people I know that I have faith that Jesus Christ is in my heart. And so I know I'm not going to miss the mark. I know that I miss the mark every day of falling and not being the proper example I should be, but I know that Jesus Christ has saved me, so I know that without assurance.
Always remember this. I didn't mean to cut you short, but
did.
hey, when you start talking about Christianity, let me throw this in. Go ahead. Hey, I'm
you can-
telling you, I'm getting
As
into
you
what.
can see, we're getting down here today, and this is not
Hey.
an excuse to miss church Sunday, but we are going to have to go.
Yeah.
But I've been encouraged,
I'm telling you.
especially in these
You
last
said it was
5 minutes.
you said it was
That took
3
a
hours,
turn.
didn't you?
When you start talking Christianity, you just
And that's a good thing. That's a great thing.
There's no end.
Yeah, Mayor, thank you for sharing all these insights.
Thank you for
It's
allowing me
been
to talk and spread
absolutely
the good word. So.
It's a pleasure to have you on this show, and I thank you for what you do in the community, not only in Darlington, but in all the small communities by way of your gym. It's really, really good stuff.
We appreciate it.
Jack Roc, thank you for being with us. I think you're going to be on an episode on another podcast here shortly, so we look forward to that. Zeb, thank you for producing this show. If you're in need of production, you want to start a podcast, or if you have any kind of small film ambitious, this is your guy. He's the best there is, Zeb Boykin. Hit me up in a DM, and I'll be glad to get you his information. Hope we've motivated you. We're trying to usher into the weekend. We call this the front porch of the weekend. And so we're going to hop off the front porch now. Thank you to our sponsors. If you want somebody to be on the Lions Den, contact me as well. But hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for being on this edition of the Lions Den. We will see you next time.